Hi everyone and welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to be talking about major scales. Now in order to understand major scales, we need to know what we mean by scale. We need to define that word. Now a scale is a set or a group of notes defined by fixed pattern of intervals. Now the key word there being intervals. An interval is the distance between any two given notes. So any two notes that you play back to back will have an interval, or even if you play them simultaneously. So let's say we have middle C and then we play G. The interval there is what we call a perfect fifth. If we play C and then F, we have a perfect fourth. C, then E flat is a minor third. Now the most important interval for today's lesson is the semitone. The semitone is the smallest unit on the piano. So if we play C, a semitone is the closest note to C. So going up, the closest note to C is C sharp. The closest note to C descending is B. So if we go up a semitone from C, we have C sharp. Up again, D. Up a semitone again, E flat. Up a semitone again, E. Up again, F. F sharp, G. G sharp, A. B flat, B, C, etc. If we go down and descend from C, play C, a semitone, going down, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E, E flat, D, D flat, C. Okay? So that's a semitone. Now a tone is two semitones. So if we play C and we want to play a tone going up, we have to count two semitones. So 1, 2, that's a tone. Another one, 1, 2, that's another tone, which would be E. From E, a tone would be F sharp. So we're counting two semitones to get to a tone. Now the pattern of intervals for a major scale are as follows. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So two tones followed by a semitone, followed by three tones, followed by another semitone. Now, in the key of C major, that pattern would be as follows. C, going up a tone, D, up another tone, E, up a semitone, F, up a tone, G, another tone, A, tone again, B, and a semitone from B to C. Then you have your major scale. If you're a beginner and you're trying to work out major scales in different keys, it's a good practice to try and write them down initially, because that will help cement it in your mind. So just take a piece of paper and just jot down the scales, or you can write it in your notes app in your phone, whichever works. I use my notes app a lot actually, but you can just take a piece of paper and just write down the intervals, because it's hard to memorize them at first. You need to know the notes that correlate to the intervals that you're working out. So let's say we want to work out a major scale in G. So we want to work out G major. The first note is G. So we're just going to write G here, and then underneath we'll write the pattern of intervals. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So have G. We need to be going up a tone. It's A. Right, A. Another tone from A is B. A semitone from B is C. A tone from C is D. A tone from D is E. Another tone from E is F sharp. And finally, from F sharp, semitone up, is G. And here we have our notes and intervals. Okay. Now that you have these notes, you can play them. I'm sorry, I wrote F here. It was F sharp. So I'll just show you that again. F sharp. All right. Now you can play them because you know where you're going. So now you need to know which fingers to use to play the scale. So if you don't know this, the fingering for piano playing is your thumbs are always 1, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So for a G major scale, you want to start with your thumb on G, second finger on A, third finger on B. You just play them, and as you're playing the second note, your thumb is sliding towards C. Okay? Sliding towards C, playing C, and then jumping over the thumb with your second finger on D, going up all adjacent fingers up to G. And then back down, the same place that you pivoted, you pivot again with your third finger going over the thumb down to G. Okay? So you have your scale written, you have your fingering, and you can just play it now. Now that's the right hand. For the left hand, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, starting on G. So finger number 5 on G, going up till you run out of fingers, and then finger number 3 goes over the thumb, playing E, then F sharp, G, then back down. Okay. Let's try and work on C major, and I'll explain it in C major because it's easier to see without the black notes, and beginners usually start in C major. So again, the thumb on C, second finger on D, third finger on E. 1, 2, 3, and very important to start moving the thumb as soon as you lift it to play the second note with the second finger, and it's just hovering over the F. Okay? And it's a good idea to just take it slow, get that movement going. After you're a bit more fluent in it, you go over the thumb with the second finger, up, up, till you get to C. Okay. Now let's say you wanted to play 2 octaves. Now this time, it's the same process until you get to B with the 4th finger, then the thumb goes under again to play C, and then you're back to your original position in C major. And then again, under the 3rd finger, going up, and this time you use your 5th finger to play the C, which is the last note of the scale ascending, and then come back down the same way. Okay? And then you can practice. It's the same principle that we had in G major for C major, by the way. So we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And then 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And then back down the same way. Now once you can play these scales hands separately, you need to try and practice them hands together. So you place your hands, so your 5th finger of your left hand on C, and your thumb or your 1st finger right hand on a C an octave higher. So the first 3 notes are just adjacent fingers. So, and then after the 3rd note, you have F, which you'll play with your thumb in the right hand and your 2nd finger in the left hand. I'll play that slowly. And it's very important to actually play it slowly when you're just learning it, when you're beginning to play through the scale and get used to how it feels. Very slow. Actually, just play that a few times in a loop. Don't go any further. Then add the next note, which is the 5th, the G. So the G will be with the 2nd finger that's just gone over the thumb in the right hand, and then the thumb in the left hand. I'll play that again slowly. Again. Now add in the 6th, which will be the 3rd fingers in both hands. Now the 3rd finger in the left hand just went over the pivot finger, which is the thumb. We'll do that again a few times. Don't go any further. And then the rest, adjacent fingers again. And you come back down the same way. The thumb in the left hand goes under the 3rd finger first. Have the 2nd finger in the right hand. Then thumb in the right hand, 2nd finger in the left hand, then the 3rd finger's on E, D, and C. And just gradually, just play 1 octave. Very important to not push too hard. I see this all the time with students, and it's actually very hard to rectify once you've gotten used to it. Trying to push very hard into the keys. The natural weight of your arms will be sufficient. After a while, you can experiment with 2 octaves. And then maybe contrary motion. C major scale. Now a few tips on how to practice these scales, because they can easily become monotonous and you want to avoid monotony. You want to always practice musically, and you also want to create fluency in your fingers and add agility and develop good control. So you want to practice different ways, because different music requires different speed, and different rhythms will require you to jump with different fingers or go over different fingers. It won't always be as simple as this. So, the first way to practice is with different rhythms. So you practice short, long, short, long, short, long, etc. So, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. Another way to practice is to accent every other note. So you play loud, quiet first. Then the reverse, quiet, loud, quiet, loud. Another method is to use crescendo and diminuendos. So crescendo as you go up and diminuendo as you come down. Just avoid practicing monotonously. You can spread the crescendo and diminuendo over 2 octaves. So you have to drag it out, quiet again. Okay? Another thing I wanted to mention to you was the fingering in different keys, especially the keys that students tend to work on less, which is the scales that start on black notes. Usually you start with the second finger on the black notes. Now, it's important to note that no suggested fingering is fixed. You can use any fingering you like. This is just accumulated knowledge of 400 years of playing the keyboard. So, there's a good book called The Manual of Scales, Broken Chords and Arpeggios for Piano. It's published by the ABRSM in the UK. And we had to use this book in our first year in music college to work on our technical exercises. It covers all of the keys. Major, harmonic minor, melodic minor, I think natural minor. It also has thirds and sixths and octaves, arpeggios in all keys, and it has alternative fingerings as well. So it's a good source. Instead of buying books for each grade, you just have your scales and arpeggios books with you, so you can refer to it whenever you need. So once you've gained some fluency in playing your scales and arpeggios, try to improvise and try to make music creatively. And improvisation might sound a daunting proposition for some people, but it doesn't really have to be. It can just be simple music making. So let's say we're in C major and we just want to improvise. Don't worry too much about staying in the right time signature or anything. Just keep something going. Keep a pulse in the left hand and just make something up, mostly scalic, which is what we've been doing today. Scalic patterns, and see where it takes you. So anything like that. So keep a 5-finger position, go down to the 5th finger, and then up to the tonic. Bit naughty of me, I shouldn't have done a mordent there. Anything which is scalic. Okay, something like that. Anything. Just make music. Make it loud, make it quiet, make it long, make it short. Just make music and have fun with what you've learned. Do it in different keys. And make sure you practice musically and with intention. Just you have to avoid at all costs playing and practicing mechanically, because then you'll perform mechanically and no one will really connect with your music. So there you have it, folks. That's our lesson on major scales. Now practice your major scales, play them in different keys. Remember what a scale is. It's a set or a group of notes defined by fixed pattern of intervals. Remember that. Remember your tone and semitones. Remember the pattern of intervals for a major scale. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Use the practice methods we've worked on today and improvise and have fun. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section and I will try to respond to as many as I can. And that's it. Have a great day.